Conor, Dana, Chandler, there has never been a fight like this, and not even close. Not even close. That hasn't gotten ugly by now. There hasn't been a fight like this where you got three entities, all of which are pulling for the same thing. Somehow don't come together, and I'm talking about promoter, red corner, blue corner. Where a year ago things hadn't gotten ugly, there hasn't been, and there's been Ultimate Fighter, coaches from the Ultimate Fighter, the single greatest marketing vehicle in the history of our industry, which is now getting competition from Dana White Contender Series. All right, there is no other even argument. There has been seasons where those coaches couldn't come together or couldn't come together on the agreed upon time, where things like this happen. It got real ugly real fast, and that usually cleared it up, as a matter of fact. As soon as they saw the importance by the promoter, they changed their tune. I'll give them credit for that. I'm just sharing with you that it happened. Here we've got Chandler, who is so open and so easy to work with that he has truly let you know it can be at any weight class. It can be 3 rounds, 5 rounds, or 4 rounds if you would like to. It can be in North America, South America. He'll go to a different continent. Like, just for example, Chandler has been so easy to work with, to the extent that he'll even go and he'll do a season of The Ultimate Fighter, if that's what it takes to get to this fight. I mean, I know I just told the story in reverse, but that has been Chandler, and that has been extremely consistent. Now, contrary to the way some of you are remembering it, Conor McGregor is very sincere in wanting to fight. Conor is very sincere in his understanding that he is not going to get a different opponent. It's one of the few things that Conor has actually respected. I don't know how that was presented to Conor. I can just tell you, however that was presented behind the scenes of your next opponent is Michael Chandler, or you don't have another opponent. However that was presented to him, it was presented in a language that he speaks. Because it is one of the things in Conor's entire tenure here that he has understood very clearly. He used to play with Chandler. He used to mess with Chandler's emotions. He used to enjoy doing it on Twitter on a regular basis. However that got explained to him of do what you want and have your fun, just understand it's going to be Chandler. Whatever that was, great job. Whoever made that presentation should go back and try to remember what it is they thought and felt and what music they heard and what they had for breakfast that day. Like, they need to re-go back to that moment. And then you've got promoter who, again, a lot like Michael Chandler, has openly said anything. This guy has done so much and been so easy to work with, speaking about Conor McGregor, and even gave you a history lesson, specifically to the night that Conor was supposed to fight Jose Aldo for a world championship, and it ends up being polar opposite stylistic with Chad Mendes for an interim championship, and Conor never flinched. But Dana actually took the time to go back and talk about these things and to tell these stories and to talk about how easy it was to amend agreements once the agreements were made. Conor's done a number of things that people didn't ever think he would do. They never thought he would do a season of The Ultimate Fighter. It turns out he's done 2. I might have lost track, and there's even a 3rd one in there. I'm just sharing for you. Dana laid this out. Said because of that, yeah, he could come in at 170 right now, fight Kamaru Usman for the belt. I get that was a couple of champions ago, but that was at the time the statement was made. He could come back at 155 and take on Islam for the belt. He could do something in between. And Dana had no reason to say that because he wasn't having to sell something to the public. He was not making a title fight between Conor and Kamaru Usman that he's now going to have to sell to the public. He didn't make the fight. He just still made the point, and he still took the lumps over it because he was that sincere in Conor's previous dealings and his sincerity to fight. Now, I'm just sharing you all 3 sides. If you have the evidence that I just gave you, you just gave Chandler a full pass. You just gave Dana a pat on the back. You just gave Conor an attaboy. Well, one of them's at fault here. One of them has to be at fault. Who is it? We don't know. Nobody's even accusing somebody else. I have never seen this where all the sides get along quite as well. I think Conor is sincere that he would like to fight 170 pounds, T-Mobile Arena, December 2024, opposite Michael Chandler, under the unified rules of the mixed martial arts. I believe him. I don't think that's a ploy for attention. I believe, an inside scoop that I'm getting, that the UFC wants all of those same things. They just want it in January in California. I mean, it sounds like you got to know who you're going to believe, right? I understand. That's the question to everything. I'm sharing for what I believe, and for very good reason. But that sure sounds close. I mean, that sounds like we're real close here. So we've never quite been in a situation like this, and I do have to wonder, what is this fight about? I was blown away with the evidence that Conor McGregor, top draw red panty night, is still in full effect to the extent that it is. Conor does not have a grudge with Michael Chandler. Conor can build interest, but he does not have a grudge. There was no sliding in me DMs. There was nothing personal there. This isn't a rematch, for example. This isn't a contenders match. It's not even a title match. It's just an interesting match because these two personalities have made it interesting. Fair enough, but can we agree? That's not much. That's not much in comparison to the very personal, at times nationalistic, at times ethnic championship. Right? This is what we're comparing to. We're comparing the Chandler fight to other things Conor has done, because Conor and Chandler had a box office that eclipsed anything Conor has ever done. And Conor holds spots 1 through 10. He not only came in to beat one of his own records, he came in and beat his own best record. 17.4 million. New York against Eddie Alvarez, champion versus champion. First time the octagon had been to Madison Square Garden. I mean, there was a lot of things there that you could not duplicate, which helped to explain for the record gate. I think it was 17.2 million. You get my point. All of those things are absent. And Conor had 25 plus million at the box office that wasn't sold out. It would have come in about $27.5 million. $10 million over his own number one record that he was coming in to beat. I mean, I'm just sharing for you. Like, it feels like everybody's getting along. It feels like there's still a real need for this. It feels like nothing's gotten ugly yet. It feels as though Conor really wants to fight. He wants to do it in December. Chandler, for sure, is on board. I mean, we can just leave it at that. And it seems like the UFC really wants him as well. It doesn't seem like they're upset with him. It doesn't seem like the rehab or the discolored pinky toe, whatever that was. But I do feel that we are missing why this fight matters. I feel we saw this when Mike Tyson came back against Roy Jones Jr., and even though it was an exhibition, and even though it was guys in different weight classes, it was a question of, can Mike do this after this layoff? Is he physically able to do this? I get that Mike Tyson is a once-in-a-lifetime attraction, but Conor McGregor is a once-in-a-lifetime attraction. And the real question is, can he do this? Can he do this off an injury? Can the most undisciplined guy in the sport beat the most disciplined guy in the sport? And by the way, do you guys remember how DraftKings had this? Because they had Conor McGregor as a favorite. Now, that can always be misleading at DraftKings or any other line when it has to do with Conor McGregor because of the loyalty and support. It's not necessarily like other competitions, the fans expressing who they think is going to win. With Conor, sometimes it's who are they behind, but nonetheless, the most undisciplined guy against the most disciplined guy. And what is accurate on Conor? What information is accurate on Conor? Conor came out, I believe, to play with the media, and the media was so scared of Conor they didn't play back. There is no part of me that believes Conor thought he was going to get away with taking a picture of a discolored pinky toe, not including his own face in the photo, doing no proof whatsoever that that was even his toe. I think he was having fun. He was waiting as a master. He was waiting for you to come back and call him on what I just said. How do we even know that that's your toe? What about that toe would stop you from limping your way down to a press conference that was held in Ireland? Like, I think Conor was waiting for all of this. And the media got so scared that they didn't do any of it. They didn't push back. They didn't challenge it. I think they missed a really great opportunity for media and marketing and entertainment. But either way, here we are in this spot. Three entities, very strong, very powerful, that all appear to want the same thing. And for the first time ever, it stayed very cordial. Why? If everything is so great, and if we're agreeing at all times and we got nothing to fight about in the fight business, why don't we have a contract? There are no other two guys that the organization would like to fight, where they've made a decision they'd like to fight and the guys have agreed to fight each other and we don't have a contract. So why don't we have one for this? I'm not answering a question right now, by the way, guys. I'm asking the question. You answer it.